Human remains found near the Volkswagen Chattanooga assembly plant have been identified.
The bird flu is said to be making its way through the U.S., and the Hamilton County Health Department tells us how the Tennessee Valley is impacted.
The Chattanooga Public Library has some deals to make a variety of summer activities for families more accessible.
This is Local 3 News at 6.
Thank you for joining us for Local 3 News at 6. I'm Greg Glover in for David Carroll on this Monday evening.
It is a Monday, and I'm Cindy Sexton. Skeletal remains found near the Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga earlier this year have been identified as being those of a woman from Georgia, Alpharetta, Georgia.
Said to be the remains of 21-year-old Mari Ang Martinez. The woman was reported missing by her family back in August of last year. Now they say they hope someone can tell them what happened. Local 3 Xavier Harris spoke with the woman's mother, who's desperate for answers.
It was in this area near Volkswagen where Mari Martinez was found, which is about 100 miles away from where she was last seen. And right now, her family wants to know how she ended up here.
Charismatic, magnetic, sparkly, fun, all-loving kind of person.
All words to describe Mari Martinez. Her mother, Anita Darling, says she was last seen in Cobb County on Powers Ferry Road on August 21st.
I was 9 minutes away. I was on my way to pick her up, and she called me and said, she had caught a ride.
Darling says the man who picked her up didn't know her daughter.
I had a conversation with her about it. It still seemed a little strange. Got off the phone with her and felt uneasy about it.
She says she texted her daughter and got the notification that she read it about 10 o'clock that night, but she never responded. According to Darling, the man who picked up her daughter earlier that day was not a person of interest.
She was one of those people, though, that did not necessarily meet a stranger.
After days went by and she had not heard from her daughter, she reported her missing. For about 9 months, she would be on the search for her child. Last month, she received the call that her daughter was found in a wooded area in Chattanooga.
The heartbreak of just realizing that you lost your child. So my kids are like my everything.
Today is Martinez's 21st birthday, and as a gift to her, Darling says they donated her remains to the University of Tennessee.
She had some things in her skeletal structure that they felt like could be studied, and it would be helping, I think, up-and-coming medical examiners.
Darling says her and her 2 daughters, without a doubt, knew Martinez would love this idea.
It's like I felt her right there with me going like, yes, that. I knew I was special.
Investigators in Cobb, Gwinnett, and Hamilton counties are working together to find out what happened to Martinez.
You have information, say something. I don't care how small it is.
Darling says anyone with information can call the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. Reporting in Hamilton County, I'm Xavier Harris, Local 3 News.
Hamilton County deputies arrested a man who they say stole from the Chattanooga Police Department's impound lot. James Turpin is accused of stealing evidence, including a Nissan pickup truck that is evidence in a fatal pedestrian crash in North Chattanooga. They say he also stole 56 catalytic converters from the lot. Turpin was arrested on multiple counts of burglary and of an auto and evading arrest. He was booked at the Hamilton County Jail.
On Friday, 2 men were arrested on child rape charges. Chattanooga police say the victim had been sexually abused for about 2 years by Felix Domingo and Pascual Domingo, and as recently as March. The victim's 2 months pregnant, told investigators she doesn't know which man is the father. Court records do not reveal the victim's age. However, Tennessee state law says victims of child rape are between the ages of 3 and 13. Both of the men are charged with rape of a child, sexual battery by an authority figure, and statutory rape by an authority figure. They're being held in the Hamilton County Jail on $500,000 bonds.
Cases of the bird flu are rising across the U.S. Today, the Hamilton County Health Department addressed what's going on and whether or not we're seeing it in the Tennessee Valley. Now, bird flu is a type of influenza A, mostly found in domestic and wild birds. However, for the first time this year, it was found in dairy cattle. The disease was first found in dairy cattle in Texas and then in Michigan. And there are a few human cases in Michigan also. 3 farm workers in direct contact with the cattle became sick.
This virus, it makes cows sick. It's found in raw milk. So we continue to advise people not to drink raw milk because you can get sick not only from H5N1 but other viruses and bacteria. Also, just keep monitoring yourself for symptoms of any kinds of illness, and if you do get a respiratory disease, use protective measures as you always do.
The FDA reports commercial milk is still safe to drink. As of now, no cases have been reported in Tennessee.
After months of saying the president could not, the Biden administration is expected to roll out an executive action as early as tomorrow that would limit asylum seeking from immigrants. Just last week, a ceremony was held in Chattanooga for more than 400 people who officially legally became U.S. citizens.
Cornelia Nicholson spoke with an immigration lawyer about the process to become a U.S. citizen.
So a lot of people don't understand the hard process it is, the hard road that immigrants have to become a citizen.
Regina Varela, a local managing attorney, says there are several ways for an immigrant to enter into the U.S., like getting a travel visa or a green card through an immediate family member. She says they can also come into the U.S. through the border seeking asylum, which she says is a concern for many people. But it's not guaranteed that they can get in.
They also give you an interview at the border to see if your fear is credible. If they do not determine that your fear is credible, they will turn you back and turn you away. Many times they send you to a detention center and you are incarcerated for months while you are waiting to be deported.
Valera says 85% of asylum cases in Memphis and Atlanta are denied. If an immigrant is able to obtain their green card, they become a resident, allowing them to legally live and work in the United States. Foreign immigrants must be a U.S. resident for 5 years or married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years before they can apply for their citizenship. Now, the process to get their citizenship can be a lengthy one, as they'll have to interview with an immigration officer and take an English and civil test. Valera says when they go into their exam, there's a writing and a reading section to demonstrate they know English, and a civic test where they must study 100 questions. She says out of those 100 questions, a random 10 will be on the test, and they have to get 6 correct. She says those applying must be of good moral character because immigration officers will look at the last 5 years of their record. Once they're approved, they go through the naturalization ceremony where they take the oath to officially become a United States citizen.
Cornelia Nicholson with that story. Coming up on Local 3 News at 6, a very small animal shelter in Bradley County has some repairs that need to be made. Local News' Riley Nagel has how they are receiving some significant improvements. The animal shelter in Bradley County received a $15,000 grant from the Home Depot Foundation. Local 3's Riley Nagel tells us how the funds will help them care for those animals.
The SPCA of Bradley County and their adorable animals are looking forward to some much needed improvements, and in the meantime, they could use some help with some fostering, not just cats, but some big dogs as well.
Basically just focus on taking care of the homeless animals in our community.
Director of SPCA, Melissa Smith, says they're a no-kill shelter. They take in and adopt out animals with an emphasis of looking out for those that are sick or injured. But Smith explained they are a very small organization with limited funds.
We have a lot of broken kennels, we have a lot of holes in the wall, paint, doors that need repaired.
A volunteer with SPCA reached out to the Home Depot Foundation asking if they would consider donating any supplies. The foundation informed them about a $15,000 grant.
We applied for the grant and pretty much immediately the Home Depot team came out, saw what was happening here and really thought that they could help us.
This Thursday and Friday, team members with the foundation will be at SPCA, fixing kennels, filling holes, building a walking path and a fence around the perimeter of their property. Smith says she's most excited for the inclusion of a brand new gazebo where potential pet owners can meet a new furry friend.
It'll help the animals and the staff and the volunteers and the fosters, but it's really going to benefit the community, allow more people to want to come in and feel comfortable and volunteer and adopt. So we're really hoping that this is going to be a game changer for the organization.
While the shelter gets a facelift, Smith is looking for short-term fosters to watch after their dogs. She hopes people will stop by Tuesday or Wednesday to pick up a dog, and they can be brought back this weekend unless you decide to adopt. Reporting in Bradley County, I'm Riley Nagel, Local 3 News.